Alright, y'all, so today we're going to be talking about the Yaesu FTM-7250DR. It is a dual-band C4FM mobile radio. However, it does have some quirks in it that I'm not too sure that I like. This radio is available on Amazon for $229.95, and there is a affiliate link down in the description below that you can use to purchase this radio. And with that, it will give a small commission to me. It does not have any kind of extra charge for you, however, but it really helps the channel out. So if you would use it, I would greatly appreciate it. Like I mentioned, this radio is a dual band radio. However, it does not have dual receive. You cannot receive 2 meter and 70 centimeter at the same time, which is one of the things that I look for in a radio, and it is a must for me. If it's not a must for you, then maybe this radio will work for you. Also, this radio is a C4FM radio. However, it does not have the data side of the equation. You cannot send pictures, do APRS locations, or any of the other typical digital information that goes along with your transmissions. You can do the C4FM digital voice, but it doesn't have the extra stuff in it. Alright, let's talk about the receive and transmit. On the receive side, it will receive from 108 to 579.995 megahertz. On the transmit side, there's two separate models for this radio. The US version you can receive from 144 to 148 megahertz and from 430 to 450 megahertz. The European version, because of their smaller area that they can talk on, you can only do from 140 to 146 and from 430 to 440. On the transmit power of this radio is a typical mobile radio levels. Low power is 5 watts, medium power is 25 watts, and high power is 50 watts. The 70 centimeter side of this radio also has the full 50 watts, so that makes it fairly nice. Okay, for the memory channels, there are 199 memory channels. Kind of small for today's radio, but it's still plenty of memory channels for you to use. I highly doubt that you'll run out of memory channels. It also has 10 set of band edge channels that you can use for scanning, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. It comes with 6 home channels. So if you have up to 6 repeaters or frequencies that you typically talk on, you can set those to your home channels and get to them really fast. Alright, this radio also has the automatic mode select, which comes standard with all C4FM radios. What this does is whenever your radio receives a transmission, it will automatically set the mode of your radio to match the incoming signal. So if you're talking to somebody on C4FM digital and somebody keys up in analog mode or an analog transmission, both radios will automatically select or will switch over to analog mode so that all three of you can talk. Alright, multiple options for scanning on this radio. It has a VFO scan, which is basically your typical scan. It will go from the very bottom edge of the receive range to the very top. The memory scan will scan all of your memory channels. You have to be in memory mode before you start the scan for this to work. It has a memory skip scan, which you can set one of the flags in the memory channel to skip it. So if there's a repeater that is always busy or that is always talking, you can set it to skip that channel in the scan. On the flip side of that, there's a preferential memory scan. So if you have 4 channels that you want to make sure that you always hear or that you're always scanning, you can set the preferential memory flag on that memory channel, and those are only the 4 channels that you'll scan. The programmable memory scan follows along with the band edge scan or the band edge channels that we talked about earlier. So you can set some to go from, say, 145.5 to 146, and that is all that it will scan in the programmable memory scan mode. The priority memory scan will basically flip between whatever channel you're on and your priority channel. This is also called dual watch. This radio does have the group monitor function, which is typical in the C4FM radios. It doesn't have the full power of the group monitor functions, though, because it doesn't have the digital side of things. The way that this radio works is it will, whenever somebody keys up, their digital group ID will be transmitted with the transmission, and if it matches your digital group ID, it will say that this person is within range of you, but it won't tell you how far away they are or what direction they are. The microphone is a better than average microphone. It does, of course, have the PTT switch, the 1 through 0 number pad, but it also has several functions that typically you don't see in a microphone. The A, B, C, and D buttons typically on a microphone are just for DTMF. Well, on this radio, the A actually tunes to 1 megahertz steps, B changes the operating mode, C adjusts the squelch level, and D sets the transmitter power, as well as the star and the pound sign also do functions as well. At the very bottom of the microphone, there are 4 programmable buttons, 2 of which you can select to whatever you want. P1 and 2 will do the recall your digital group ID, and 2 will enter into the programmable or the digital group ID memory screen. P3 and P4 are your programmable buttons, where you can select what function you want to do with those 2 buttons. From the factory, P3 does the wires X feature and P4 does the weather function. Okay, so let's talk about P3 and P4, what options you have. You can turn the squelch off or back on with a second press of it. You can set it to where it'll go to the home channel. You can set it to where it will activate the weather function. You can also do the CTCSS or DCS search scan, so if you're trying to find what the tone is for a repeater, it will automatically do a scan to tell you what that is. You can enable the scan feature of the radio. You can activate the 1750 hertz burst, which is typically only for the European models. It's really not used here in the US. The transmit power, you can set to where it'll go for low, medium, or high. You can select between digital and analog modes. You can activate the group monitor mode as well. You can also, of course, activate the wires X function. You can tune your radio to reverse, so if you can't hear somebody on a repeater, switch to reverse, and maybe you can hear them direct, and you can talk on a simplex instead of the repeater. And you can also enable the dual launch feature, which is what we talked about here a little bit ago with the priority memory select. Alright, y'all, and that is it on this radio. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about this radio. Yes, it's C4FM, yes, it's a dual band, but it's not a true dual band, and it doesn't have the full functionality of the C4FM. So, personally, I think I'm going to have to pass on a radio like this if I were to be in the market for a new one. But that's entirely up to you. So, again, there's a link in the description below, affiliate link to Amazon, that you can purchase it through there. Helps the channel out immensely, and I would greatly appreciate it. So, until next time, thank you for watching. Please make sure you click on the subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner, as well as the bell icon, so you don't miss any of the videos that I have coming out. And until next time, 73, y'all.